Are you curious about the unknown, the unexplainable? Do you find yourself intrigued by the mysterious and paranormal side of our world? Join us on an adventure into the world of inexplicable discoveries and investigations that may someday give us the final answer as to what may be behind the veil of reality. The borders of space and time have opened once again, and transmitting from the mountains of West Virginia, it's time once again for Let's Find Out with Diego. The universe is waiting for you.
The borders of space and time have opened once again, and transmitting from the mountains of West Virginia. It's another episode of Let's Find Out with Diego. Thank you for taking this journey with me. On this episode of Let's Find Out, our guest is the founder of SEGRA Paranormal, the Newport Paranormal Society, and a seasoned paranormal investigator with a keen eye for the unknown and a passion for unraveling mysteries, living his life as a Tik Tok Para-Video debunker, unmasking the truth behind the supernatural, delving into the depths of all things paranormal. He is a relentless researcher and a relentless hoax hunter. All this plus more. Please welcome back to Let's Find Out, my paranormal brother from another paranormal mother, Nathaniel Elwell. Brother, welcome back to the show, man. It feels like I haven't talked to you forever, but I bring you back every year. Every year it gets even better and better.
You know, I appreciate the invite back. And let me tell you, I love that comment about the paranormal brother from another paranormal mother. That was excellent. That was awesome.
Oh, thank you, man. And I really feel it's the real deal, because we go now almost, it feels like an eternity, but it's only been kind of like 3 years or some change, three and a half.
About 3 years.
Yeah, because I had you on in the prior show before I started Let's Find Out, and we had such a great conversation. I asked you, hey, would you help me launch the new podcast and be one of my early guests and get the fire going? You said, of course, man. I got your back ever since then, man. Simpatico as always.
Yeah, I've always got your back, dude. I love your cast. I love the guests you have on. I mean, you got. It's always a great conversation.
No, absolutely, and it's one of those things that is very rare, especially in what we're involved in, because, and it's nothing against anybody else, but sometimes there seems to be an awful lot of static between a lot of different people and groups, and it's kind of refreshing to actually have an actual friendship or brotherhood with people doing the same things that we are, although we might be on a couple different kind of journey and stuff, but it's all the same though. We're trying to get to solving these things. We're trying to get into answers to life's mysteries.
No, and you know, man, you're 100% right. And I can tell you that I have seen over Facebook, Instagram, you know, and various other social media platforms, especially over the last, I don't know, 7 or 8 months, the paradrama. Like, my goodness, can we all stop it? We are in the field for the same reason. We're here to further the research. Why are we ripping each other apart?
I don't know. You know, in a way, you can say that the reason that happens, I think, is there might be a possibility where some people are trying to hide what it is they're doing because maybe they're kind of just not on the up and up, which is why I bring you on tonight's episode, my friend. Now, I remember you started with testing the different paranormal apps,
yep,
or equipment in the back, but now you actually, this is taking off pretty good because you're going out there. People are either you're finding these videos yourself or people are submitting videos to you, trying to figure out the legitimacy of these videos. And it's one of those things where you're gonna have to have balls of steel to do this, because in a very sensitive world we live in, where somebody videotapes something and puts it online, you're out there, you're doing honest work, but you know, sometimes it's just so obvious. So how do you, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, how are you breaking down these videos? What are you looking for? Because sometimes they seem like there's something there, but then that split moment, you're like, aha, Nate was right.
You know, and that's basically what it is for me as well. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you 100%. For me, it's a split second moment. So when I go and I debunk a video, I don't do my stuff in the way that normal people would. I download the video and I still frame it. I do the video frame by frame. The 1 minute videos that people see on TikTok, or sometimes they're a little bit longer, depending. But the 1 minute video that people see on TikTok take me about 4 days to put together. Because I go through and I still frame every single shot. I'm looking for film cuts. I'm looking for editing errors. I'm looking for shines from monofilament fishing line. I am looking for pretty much anything that would just stand out as out of the ordinary. And that's pretty much how I explain it. I've actually got a video coming out next week where a UFO comes out of the water and I'm debunking it as a whale. So that should be interesting.
No, I'm looking forward to that. I think you recently did one about a djinn.
Yes, the Jen girl.
Yes, I mean, what was that all about? I haven't gotten to see the video, at least what you're talking about as far as breaking it down, but I saw it
Right.
the other day on IG.
Yeah, so the Jen girl video. I came across that honestly about 5 months ago, and I kind of put it on the back burner because I was like, well, this is so easy for me to explain. And when I actually got into the video, it wasn't necessarily easy to explain until I found other videos containing the same exact child doing the same exact motions. And so if you have multiple videos out there with the same exact person doing the same exact motions, you know what? That's going to lead me to think you probably bought some monster teeth off of Amazon and you bought some whiteout contacts. They're not all that expensive. And you're just creating a false channel to give people jump scares. And I'm not with that.
And I can understand why, because I think maybe there's a thing of course, we want to get the likes, we want to get the shares, but maybe I know they're trying to have fun, but I think it kind of works against the people that are doing the honest work out there.
It does.
Because the minute something that's caught on video and it's super legit, people are gonna say, "Oh, full of shit."
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It does. And that's what I hate with this age right now of the AI technology and everything else. It's going like as far as how far editing has come from the 2000s to now, which I know we're still in the 2000s, but like the year 2000 to now. It is very difficult to see and pinpoint what's real and what's not. And it does add a layer of cloudiness to the paranormal, to be honest, because anyone could look at any video, and if they're a hardcore extreme skeptic, which for anyone listening to this or watching it, I am not a hardcore extreme skeptic. I am a paranormal investigator. I am a firm believer, but I am also a believer in people will fake anything to make a buck.
Yes, that's we call it the carnies, people who are trying to sell you the snake oil. Where
Yes.
and you know what's interesting? It just came to my mind. I just got this download. It's kind of cool. So you kind of remind me of something here. Harry Houdini. He
Firm
dedicated.
debunker.
That's what I'm talking about. He dedicated part of his life because he was witnessing people being taken advantage of with these people conducting these fake seances.
Yep.
And it's one of those things that, I think he was doing a great service, but you didn't stand a chance with him because if he knows anything about illusions, he would be the person.
Yep, and Harry Houdini was actually the one who figured out in a lot of the paranormal photos that you see back from that time frame where they had the ectoplasm coming out of the mouth was made of cheesecloth.
But it's interesting because if you take a look at those old photos, even though they're pretty badass looking, it's pretty creepy. They did a pretty good job with it, but you can't pull the wool over Harry Houdini's eyes.
You can't. And you know what? And anytime that I've ever been asked of my, like, say, top 3 paranormal people in the, in history, Harry Houdini is always listed. People don't realize he was more than a magician.
He was. He was a hell of an entertainer and pretty tough kind of guy, man. If you ever see Harry Houdini, you figure, magicians are kind of like a wimpy kind of guy, but he was not, man. That guy was
He was not at all.
no. And going back to talking about the debunking, because in a way, I'm a little bit the same with you. I am looking for the shoe to drop because I want to identify those who are, well, of course, the hoaxers and doing a lot of damage to the field that we're in, or anybody else. It could be paranormal, it could be cryptids, it could be UFOs. In fact, I talked about a video, I don't know if it was earlier this year or sometime last year, where there was a kid that filmed a UFO out of Middletown, Ohio, and it actually made the local news. And I don't know if I sent you this video or not, but this was
He
taped
did
a
not.
while ago. And it looked very well, but towards the end, you kind of see it's like, oh, these kids were way too prepared to film this UFO that happened so quickly because their camera was out. They knew where to pan. So in a way, I kind of trained by you a little bit. I'm trying to spot these little things that to try to make it make sense. But kudos to them. They made the local news. So I guess for that 1 week, they were the heroes of Middletown.
You know what? The child falling backwards into the crib video made many, many, many different famous news stations and stuff, but I was able to break that down.
And with those videos, now are people sending videos to you directly and say, "Hey, can you check this out? Because
Sometimes.
we can't make any sense out of this," or it's like me. I scroll through socials, to find content for the show, people to interview authors, what have you. But
Yep.
every once in a while, you start seeing a lot of these videos, and the ones that are being, I'm going to say, hoaxed the most are now these Bigfoot videos.
God, yes. Like they are everywhere. And I'm trying. So I pride myself as a paranormal researcher. And a lot of people don't understand when they look into the paranormal, they don't realize there's different sects of the paranormal. They don't realize if you only specialize in Bigfoot cryptids, you're not a paranormal investigator. You're a cryptozoologist. If you specialize in UFOs and that's all you look at, you're a UFOlogist. If you specialize in ghosts and demons and that's all you look at, well, technically not demons, but include ghosts in this one because there is a different sect there. I forgot about that. But you're a ghost hunter. If you specialize in demons, you're a demonologist. A paranormal researcher investigates all aspects of anything unknown. That's all the categories combined. It's not just one category specifically. And I think that's where a lot of people get confused when it comes to, I contacted a paranormal researcher. No, you contacted a ghost hunter.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference.
And it's, in a way, kind of funny. Like it's like when you go to college, right? And you're gonna get a degree in something, but along that way, you still have to study other subjects too.
Yes. And I study all subjects. Like if you look at my paranormal library, which consists of about 235 books, you're going to find books on ghosts, UFOs, cryptids. You're going to find books on everything because that's what a paranormal researcher does. They research anything that cannot be explained by the human mind that would be considered outside of the normal.
Right now, with that, has there been? I feel safe to answer this question. Has there been a video yet you've been unable to debunk?
Yes. I cannot explain it in detail, but what I can do is I can share you the video and you can put it in a link or something if you'd like.
Sure.
Because the video is really weird. There's actually 3 on my channel that I've not been able to explain yet. And I've got 2 more coming out soon.
Wow. So those, when you debunk the videos, those come out on TikTok because the YouTube channel, that's where you test out the equipment, right?
Well, no, I posted it on YouTube as well. The YouTube is mainly my equipment tests, but since I haven't done any of those in a while, I was going through some personal stuff, as you know. Me and you discussed it, and so I really haven't been doing applications tests. That's going to be starting up here. It's January 2nd. I will be releasing a new paranormal applications test video.
Now, with so many different types of those applications out there, and I know there's constant updates, but I'm sure a lot of them have fallen through the wayside. And so, what are the ones that are now that you've been testing, and which ones so far seem to be on the up and up?
Okay, so that's a great question. The Ghost Hunter M3 app. That is an app I would recommend to anybody. Yes, it's not free, but let me tell you something. You get about 20 tools. I have to go and count. It's 15 to 20 tools in one application for like $7. You can't beat that. The UFOlogist, which used to be put out by a different company, was now recently bought by Digital Dowsing. So Digital Dowsing is a company that is very well known for their paranormal equipment. They wouldn't buy anything that they would deem as not being useful, in my opinion. So the UFOlogist app is great. The only downfall is it's only available for the iPhone. Then you have the Necrophonic app, which you can pretty much, I think that's a universal one. I'm pretty sure that can go for any device. And of course, you have EchoVox. EchoVox is really expensive, though. I paid $19.99 for EchoVox, and that's going to be the first episode of my next season of the Paranormal App Test.
Awesome, man, because I know that how many have you, if you guess, how many of these things have you tested so far?
About 30.
30. And of those 30, if you don't mind the question, how many of them have the developers contacting you, whether happy or upset with you, about researching and giving them the review of their application?
No, I don't mind you asking. Michael Weber, who created the Ghost Hunter M3 app, he was highly satisfied with my with my review, and he actually sent me a free copy of his new application, which will be on season 2 of the Paranormal App Test. GhostTube did not like my review. I'm sorry you're so popular, and I'm sorry that your application sucks. So there's that. But no, I've been contacted by a few different developers that, you know, they either disagreed or agreed with my opinion. A majority of which agreed, because I don't sugarcoat things.
But I mean, I'm assuming, because I mean, I know you for a long time now, that you're not testing these things to be strictly, you know, I guess insult the developer or anything, but you're trying to do the
No.
honest thing and make sure that people are geared towards using the proper product, right?
Yes, exactly. And that's exactly what I tell the developers when they contact me, is I'm not looking to downgrade or disrespect your product. But what I'm telling you is, in an investigative standpoint, if you want a customer to use your product in an actual paranormal investigation, it needs a hell of a lot of improvement.
I mean, I think that's fair enough. If you put it in
Yes,
those parameters.
I'm not being rude. I'm not being in any way, degrading to the people. I just speak the truth. I because when I do these videos, I download the application. I've never used it before. There's been a few, like maybe 2 applications that I used before I did the YouTube video. But typically what I do is I download the video and I use it, and I learn the application during the video because I've never touched it before. So it's a learning experience for both myself and my viewing audience.
All right, and with these apps, does it matter if it's used on an iPhone or Android or a tablet?
Some of them do matter. Like the UFOlogist is only available for the iPhone. So yes, there are a few apps that are phone specific, unfortunately.
And does it matter if there's a Wi-Fi on or a 5G or anything? Can it work without even having a Wi-Fi?
Most of them, if you put them in airplane mode, most of them would still work. Which is what I always do for my tests. I always put them in airplane mode. I don't want any kind of internet or any kind of interference happening.
So in your opinion, what's the science behind these apps? So let's say if, for lack of a better word, my friend, if a spirit is trying to contact you or make some sort of statement, what is the science behind that, and how can a spirit connect with this app in the phone?
So I want you to think about it like this. Ghost hunters, I guess some paranormal investigators, not most of them are, but if they go out, right, they have a REM pod, right? They have their K2 meters. They have their voice recorders. They have all this equipment. Did you know that your cell phone contains more sensors within that device than half of the equipment that's on the paranormal market now? So why would it not make sense that a spirit can manipulate said physical devices that you set out for that, but not be able to manipulate your phone in the same way? They should be able to. So that is why I think that paranormal applications are the way to go. Because a lot of these, they do carry EMF sensors, and a lot of them carry barometers, and people don't even realize that your phone has a barometer, especially if you have a newer edition smartphone. If your phone didn't have a barometer, it wouldn't be able to tell you on your little Fitbit how many flights of stairs you climbed for the day. There's so many sensors within your phone that people don't even realize exist. It's honestly the ultimate piece of paranormal equipment.
Yeah, and putting it like that, I kind of feel silly for not even thinking about it myself. But that's why I have you on the show, man. I mean, you're the seasoned researcher and investigator, would know these things. So, for a person that is reluctant to try these apps and they don't want to try them, and they want to go the old school way, what are the ones? What kind of tools are there that would work pretty decently to be able to at least catch something or anything like that?
Okay, so if you're reluctant on the apps and you want to go out into the field and you want to capture things, I'm going to tell you straight out. You need three things. Good instincts. If your body is telling you something's not right, that you need to leave, leave. Voice recorder. A decent voice recorder, and I'm not talking about going out and buying a, $300 Olympus recorder or one of those ridiculous recorders you see all over TV. I can't remember, something 50. I don't give a damn because I hate them.
Okay.
And a digital camera or a film camera, like a 35 millimeter camera. That's all you need.
And a lot of that doesn't even cost that much money. If you really buy recently priced things, you can buy them used too.
Let me tell you, my favorite recorder costed me, I think, $17 at Walmart. And I have had this recorder for, I don't know, damn near 12 years. And it's one of my favorite recorders. I've caught more EVP on that recorder than I have on any other recorder I've ever used.
Because I remember back in what was those mini cassettes too? Those are pretty good recorders. I think those were
I have one
real
of those.
small. You have one. I knew you would. You probably have a reel to reel somewhere too.
I plead the fifth.
Oh no, that's okay, man. You're not showing your age. I'm a lot older than you, so it's okay.
I actually have a film projector in my closet, which is right behind me, for my 8mm camera from 1964.
Well, that's awesome, man. I love the sound of those things, man.
Oh, absolutely. But what I hate about it is, for the particular camera that I own, you have to buy Catachrome film. Catachrome is not cheap. And you're looking at probably $30 for 8 minutes of video.
Wow.
I also have one of those nice old school ejecta film Polaroids, not the new ones that you see on the shows now. I'm talking about the old school ones from the 80s.
Yeah, I remember those, man. I had a
Where
couple.
the batteries came built into the film cartridge.
Yep. I mean, those were
Yeah.
awesome, though.
Oh, I love them. But you know what? Those back in the day was, if you think about it realistically, is where the field of investigation really started. I know that a lot of people say it's the Fox sisters and all the stuff that they had happening. But if you think about it, it was when people were capturing weird things on Polaroid photographs that people really started questioning, what is that and why is it there?
Well, I know in the days where I was growing, even like 70s or even because,
You ain't that old.
oh, yeah, listen, we'll talk about that. But when you have investigators from even predating me that didn't have this type of equipment, they had to rely on a lot of other little things too, because let's say they didn't have a camera, so they would have to use rods, or they have to use it themselves because they would have to be someone that can, I guess, like a better word, filter out these messages coming through them, right?
Yes.
And with that is, would that be more accurate than an app or a device in itself?
Yes. For me, your own personal feelings is always going to be more accurate than any device you can ever use. Um, my discernment with some of the devices they have now, like I own a paranormal music box. Do I like it? No. Why? Because if I set it on the floor in an abandoned location and the damn thing goes off, what's to say there wasn't a rat running in front of it?
Right.
There's nothing telling me that, hey, this was a ghost. It very well just could have been something natural. Um, I think that the devices you use to investigate the paranormal, they are subject to objection, if that makes sense.
Yes. When you go out in the field, and I know you're testing the apps, you carry a lot of other things with you as well, because I would imagine, and I've never gone out and investigated anything paranormal.
But
I
then
mean,
we're
I don't
gonna have
have
to
to.
fix that.
Yeah, I mean, it comes to my house anyway, so I don't have to. I don't really have to step out too far from my bedroom or anything like that.
No, but we're gonna fix it. I'll take you to a place.
Oh, I know you know some places, man, and it's a deal I can't refuse, right? And
Absolutely.
when you're going out, because I know you're the founder of two groups, and other than yourself, because you have this, I'm gonna call it intuition, to where you can feel these spirits and they can communicate with you, even without any of these devices. Other than the apps, what are you taking with you? Because I've seen some people that come to these investigations, they got these Pelican cases and they're going out and it looks like they're ready for war.
Yeah, there's
Maybe
no need for all that.
that's what I was going to ask. I mean, is that like a little overkill, or is this just because they want to attempt to get as much as they can? I don't know. I mean, let me ask you that then.
So for me, I think it's a little overkill. I think you don't need all these Pelican cases. I mean, don't get me wrong. I own one, but I own one specifically to protect the equipment itself from shifting during travel, not to actually use everything in my arsenal to detect something going on. Because a lot of my stuff that I do, I love my equipment, don't get me wrong. But a lot of what I do is I listen to the location. I walk through the location. I look for weak spots in the location, such as, okay, well, if I'm on this floor and I hear something hit the floor, well, I saw a chipping ceiling over here. So there's a damn good chance that what I heard hit the floor came from that ceiling tile that's falling down. Because that's what I do. I'm a debunker. I walk through and I look for everything that I can physically see that would naturally explain anything that happens during an investigation. But I do bring a decent amount of equipment too. Why? Because I want to have the opportunity to debunk the equipment and how it works.
You know, I think that's very important. So I would imagine it kind of like when you're viewing the videos, testing out the equipment XYZ. I'm naturally a skeptic on a lot of things. Not
Right.
because I'm trying to be rude or disrespectful, but I need to deduct what it isn't first. And what
No,
I
you're
mean by that
100%
is
right.
I don't want to say it's automatically, oh, that's a demon. That's a big thing now. Or look at my scratches. Or, stand by, young man, and slow it up real quick because you already have a preconceived notion what it could be. You got to first see what it is not. Because there's a lot of things
Yeah.
going on are in these locations that most likely are not even ghosts.
No, 100%. And we're not going to discuss the D word. Because let me tell you something. I have been investigating the paranormal for 17 plus years. Never encountered the demon. And a lot of what I do is residential cases. And that's why I'm not, so maybe so well known as far as the paranormal community. But I've encountered some nasty human entities. Never a demon.
You think maybe people label it a demon because of I'll say lack of education, what it is, or because they just
Yes.
want so hard to believe it's a demon, so they can go ahead and just post these things up on YouTube or something.
It's clout.
Right.
It's clout is what it is. People go into a case that may be an extreme style haunting, and I'm not discrediting the style of haunting. Yes, it may be extreme. They may be experiencing things. They may be having, poltergeist style activity. They may be having scratches. But here's the thing. You can't label it a demon without doing the proper research. And you know what? Like I said, 17 plus years, and I've dealt with that I can think of 19 cases that had a very nasty human entity attached. I've been scratched. I've actually been bitten before. I've had teeth marks embedded into my leg. But did I ever label it a demon? No. Because it was just a nasty person. If you're a nasty person in life, you're going to be a nasty person in death. That's the way it works.
Yeah, because if you, let's say, encounter a demon, you're into some heavy duty things right there. And I think you'll need a little more than these devices as a backup because you're going to want to bring somebody that knows what they're doing.
Right. And I have a few
And
people I do have a few people I can contact if I ever came across that kind of case. But they're so rare. They're so much more rare than the paranormal television shows will tell you. Because the paranormal television shows, they're out there for ratings. They're out there for views. They're out there to make their actors a paycheck.
I can understand where you're coming from. Because there's a lot of these shows out there. And it's a very cookie cutter thing.
It is.
Every once in a while, there's a surprise in there somewhere, but it's not these mainstream shows. It's usually a lot of the folks on a lower, I was going to say something that's going to sound terrible, on a smaller scale, that I actually doing better work.
Horrible. It doesn't sound horrible. It's the people out there doing the actual work, not the people that are on TV getting paid for it.
Right, and unfortunately because I want to consume as much information as possible, but when I see it as on this major streaming service, my red flags already go up. I don't know. I don't know if that's wrong or not, but I want to watch it, but at the same time, it's like, am I just wasting my time?
No, I fully get that. What I can tell you is I have been contacted, and this is kind of like a thing I'm not supposed to say, but I'm going to say it anyways because I don't care. I have been contacted about the possibility of being on a paranormal TV show in 2026.
Stand by on that one. Hold on real quick.
Huh?
The last time I talked to you about something similar, I want to say it was you.
Yep.
That I think perhaps they were maybe asking you to do things that were not on the up and up. Is that right?
Yes. And
you don't have
I
to,
don't mind if you want me to call up the show, I don't mind.
No, that's the opposite of that. But I do want to, if you don't mind, let's walk through that because this is not the first time I've heard this from different people. So they'll have somebody reach out to them, and then the conversation starts great, then things start going south.
Right. So the first ghost hunting show I was supposed to be a part of was Ghost Hunters Academy, way back in, I think it was like 2002 or 2001. Could have been later than that, to be honest. I don't remember the exact dates. But my ex-wife was pregnant. I turned down the opportunity so that way I could spend time at home and help her with the pregnancy. I felt like that was the right thing to do. And because of me turning it down, Adam Berry from Ghost Hunters is now who he is. So he took my spot. I've been offered a few other positions on paranormal TV shows. I'm not going to list them by name. Ghost Hunters Academy didn't do me wrong. That's why I don't have any issue listing them by name. That was my decision. But the other ones, yeah. I was basically told that we don't want you if you are not willing to accentuate the evidence for television.
So I'm assuming they would have made you sign some sort of contract
NDA,
saying that you can't divulge that they're trying to, I guess,
the
put you
NDAs the NDA's already expired. But I'm just not willing with how much my stuff is picking up right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not willing to risk being blackballed.
No, because you don't want to, and for lack of a better word, you don't want to hurt your brand. And if you're out there putting the work, doing honest investigations, you don't want to taint it by some schmucky show trying to get you to, flub the results. You know what I'm saying?
No, I do. And my brand has always been the truth. That's what I do. And so when these companies, there was two different shows. Oh, we'll give you X% per show viewed, royalties plus X check. Okay, I'm good with that. But when something happens, we want you to act more scared than you are. I'm not going to do that. They didn't want me to go and debunk things, basically. But that is what I do.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's like they know what you do. They want to bring you on board, but hey, be part of the show, but don't do what you do. It's like, what am I here for?
You know what? We had a similar occasion that I'm not going to speak about it because I've not asked them if it's okay. But we had a similar occasion at an event that I was at a few weeks ago. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to do any of that. Where I was a part of an event and they had another person who was a part of the event who happens to be someone who specializes in releasing spirits from locations. When he got there, he was told he was not allowed to release any spirits from the location. Then why in the fuck did you have him come and be a part of the event?
Yeah.
That's a waste of his time. It makes no sense to me. Why would you have someone come to your event that specializes in releasing spirits from a location if you do not want them to release the spirits? It doesn't make sense.
No, that's why you gotta have to distance yourself from these kind of things. I mean, you have to do your research on the people who reach out to you. It's the same thing when I reach out to people to be guests on my show. They reach out to me, but before I book that date, I do a little research on you first.
Of course.
So at least I'm comfortable with what it is that you're gonna bring on my show. Because the last thing I need is somebody saying, "Well, this guy's putting a bunch of carnies and clowns on the show," and and they're just talking a bunch of crap. No, I don't need that. It's just like you don't need that as for your reputation.
No, I don't. And let me tell you, I love being a part of your show. Like, I feel like every time I'm on here, we have a great conversation.
Absolutely true. And and speaking about that, when I'm looking for guests, Adam Began, our agent, our guy, our brother.
Oh, I love Adam.
He sometimes sends me these guests, and I just had one not long ago, blew my freaking mind, man. And I really, we love Adam, so sometimes he'll do the research for me. So you got to get this person on. I don't even got to do the research. I'll bring him on, and damn it if he ain't right.
No, Adam is a great person. I love Adam. Me and Adam have a strange history. I feel like I look weird without my hat.
Well, I keep mine on during the show.
Well, I'm going to do that now, too. The only issue is my camera's at a funky angle, so I feel like it's always crooked. But me and Adam have a strange history. So the first podcast that Adam was ever on, I was a co-host for the podcast. The first podcast Adam ever did solo, I was his first guest.
That's awesome, man.
It's kind of weird how that kind of runs full circle, right?
It is meant to be, though. I think you guys are on the same path, of course. Speaking of podcasts, because I know you've been doing an awful lot of them. Not a bad thing. It's great because people are now paying attention to your work.
I love it.
How many have you been on this year? Because your wall is looking like a museum.
Yeah, well, what you see on my wall back here, which I'll go ahead and lift you up. What you're seeing on my wall back there, I've got 16 that I haven't even had a chance to print yet. I'm going to run out of room. What's going to happen? And I've got multiple podcasts booked throughout the end of the year, as well as the beginning of next year. And I've got so far 6 events booked for next year, none of which are in my home state. So I'm going to have to travel. So if anyone is in those states, I cannot release them all right now. But I will be releasing them soon. So if you do not follow me on Facebook, or if you do not follow me on TikTok, you might want to do so if you want to come and say hi. What I can release is I have the Paranormal Rockdown that's going on in Wisconsin. I'm not going as a guest of the event itself. I am going as a guest of the actual location because the owner wants to see if I can debunk the activity going on within the location. So I'm freaking stoked for that. I will also be a part of the main Paranormal and Horror Convention. Going to be a lot of big names there. If you want to know who's going to be there, follow my Facebook, follow my TikTok, and I'm going to be sharing updates as we get closer.
Yeah, exciting times for you, man, because I know that you took a break, but which was good because now it seems that you're on the juice, brother.
Let me tell you,
because things are happening.
I did not expect to be invited to go to the Paranormal Rockdown in Wisconsin. That completely blew my mind. And what I was told by Bill, the owner of the location, Broadhead Manor, was he invites 3 people a year to come and be a guest at his event. I was one of 3 people out of the whole U.S. that he decided to pay for my travel, doesn't have to worry about paying for my lodging, because I'll be staying in the location for 3 days. Like, that's surreal to me. Like, I'm humbled.
Well, how did this happen? How did he connect with you? How did he find out about you?
I really don't know. What he told me in the DM that he sent me was I came highly recommended as the #1 debunker in the United States. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'll take the compliment.
I mean, yeah, I would take the compliment too. I mean, and I think there's some truth to that. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of debunkers out there, but I think you do it a little bit different.
I do,
and I'm not saying it's better.
I try to keep it interesting,
but it is definitely different because it's a little more. I'm going to use a college word. It's It's a little more granular. It's a little more down to earth. You see what I'm saying? It's just easier
Yep,
to
I do.
follow.
I do. And that's the reason I do my videos the way that I do them. But just the fact that I was contacted by a location for one of the biggest paranormal events going on next year. And I'm not going as a guest of the event. I'm going as a guest of the location. And they're still going to give me a promotional photo, even though I don't have vendor table. I mean, dude, that's fucking amazing.
It is. You say you're one of 3. They're gonna be locked down.
3.
Now, are you allowed to know who you'll be locked down with, or is that gonna be a
I
mystery?
already know who I'm locked down with.
Oh, you don't have to tell us because we're gonna find out when that
David
actually
Childers
happens. Oh, okay.
and Laura Huey.
Well, you heard her here.
Though we will be the 3 people locked down at that location all night.
Wow. And what is the?
I
If you're allowed to tell us, what is the history of that location? I know it's Wisconsin. There's other than that, what's going
so
on there?
I am in the process of researching the location. Okay, because you know me, I'm not going to go into a location without doing my research. What I can find out and what I have found out so far was at one point in time, it was supposed to be a kindergarten. The building burnt down, and since this town was so small, they built a school to accommodate grades K1 through 12. So you have basically the whole school going to the same building. But in order to do this, they had to bulldoze 6 Iroquois burial mounds.
Oh,
And they didn't remove the bodies, they built right over the top.
I mean, at that point, you deserve whatever it is you get. Not you, but I mean, whoever did that.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. This is probably one location that I can tell you I am physically and personally nervous to spend the night in. I don't do Native American things as far as when it comes to that. I have a person I can refer them to. But when you desecrate a Native American burial ground, oh man, that's angry. That's mean. And considering the fact that I plan on sleeping on the embalming table that they have on site the first night and the ice casket they have from 1902 on the second night. For anyone interested, yes, I'm going to live stream me sleeping on the embalming table and in the ice casket.
How are you going to prepare for this?
You know what? I'm going to do a grounding and centering. I'm going to align my chakras. I'm going to do everything that I think I need to do to spiritually prepare. But I'm be honest with you, with what I know about this location so far, I honestly don't know if it's going to do any good. This location scares me.
And to the best of your knowledge, these bodies, they are still under there, right? They haven't done anything as far as removing them to and putting them to another location. They're just
No,
there.
they're under the building.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they're completely under the building. So I mean that adds a whole nother layer. And like I told you, man, like this freaks me out. I've not been in this particular kind of situation in my 17 plus years of doing this, but I'm not going to run from it either.
Now, with you saying that, in your 17 years of investigations and research and doing the hands-on work, and I know there's probably no comparison, but has there been a location to where it really bothered you a lot
Yes,
during that investigation?
absolutely. The old Coffee County Jail in Elba, Alabama stands out to me for that one. So the old Coffee County Jail There was a sheriff by the name of Sheriff Neil Grantham who was shot to death on the steps by a former inmate in 1977. When you go into the jail, which was actually being used as a haunted house attraction at the time, which is why we were contacted, was because people were seeing haunting guests that weren't in that location. So were they seeing ghosts? Maybe. Were they just seeing things because they were scared? Maybe. Who knows? But we go into this location on the 30th anniversary of Sheriff Neil Grantham getting shot to death on the steps. I could not have booked that better. I did not know it was the 30th anniversary. We go down this hallway. So if you go up the staircase, they have what's called a bullpen setup, where they have a complete cage around the whole area, and there's just random beds set up, similar to what you would see in a military basic situation, I guess. And non-violent people just kind of stuck together. Downstairs, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, I'm counting in my head. 9 cells that had 2 bunks. And they had 1 cell that had 1 bunk. No windows on said bunk, or no said windows on said cell. Sorry, you can edit that out. But they had the food tray opening. That was your solitary cell. They didn't see many inmates. When we went into this location, and it still gives me shivers thinking about it. The solitary cell door was so badly weathered that it took 3 cans of WD-40 on the hinges and 6 people to open the door. We finally get the door open. I go inside. I sit on the bench. I start doing EVP work. Both of the cameras that I had focused on that door died the moment before the door that just took 6 of us to open slammed shut on its own volition. And I was stuck in there for an hour.
Terrifying. Now, was that the first time that door's been open in years, or is it just because that door is such in bad shape?
No, I was told it was the first time it had been open in years.
Wow.
Let me tell you, and you can edit this out if you want, but if you ever have a I just shit my pants moment, that would have been mine.
No, I'm not editing that out. You gotta wear your shitting pants when you go to these locations like that, I guess, you know?
No, because like that would have been mine. And I've never had anything like that happen before. So it was just surreal to me, like the chain of events. The cameras died, door slammed shut. It just took X amount of people to open it, X amount of cans of WD-40 because the hinges were so rusted. How physically did that door slam shut?
And that wasn't no damn wind either, right? Because people are saying it might have been the wind.
Okay. No wind. I can guarantee you that door weighs a good 170 pounds. There's no way the wind's going to blow that.
Right. And it wasn't the whole thing when the seasons change, HVAC changes the air pressure and vac. Yeah, okay. See, that's what I thought.
I can guarantee you this. I already thought of all that.
I know. You got to first know what it isn't before you know what it is. So
I would never label it paranormal if I thought that it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish I had it on video for everyone to see. But the unfortunate aspect is with, you know, the spirits take the energy that they need from devices. Both the cameras drained. There's nothing I can do about that. I just wish I had it on video to show everyone.
Yeah, it's one of those things always that, and I lack for a better word, the coolest thing always happens when you're not prepared for it. So you're not going to whip out the phone or have the video. It's going to happen no matter what.
Well, back then I had a flip phone, so the quality would have been great anyway. So
did you have a Razor? I had a Razor, man.
I did not have a Razor. I had a Samsung, and it was not great.
You know, back then they were durable phones, but they were really.
You know what?
The technology has, you know, yeah.
I actually kind of want to buy an old school flip phone because I have some videos that I have on my breakdown list and I want to try and recreate.
Oh, all right.
So I think what I might do is someone brought up the idea to me of starting a Kickstarter to get the equipment that I need to debunk what I want to debunk. I mean, I'm not personally for that. I'm not personally with that. I don't want people donating their hard-earned money to my cause. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm Jason Hawes. It's not like Zach Bagans or Aaron Godwin or Goodwin, whatever you want to call him. I call him Godwin. So I don't feel like for me starting a Kickstarter for what I want to do in the paranormal field is worth it. What would be your opinion on that? That's a question for you.
No, that's a great question because I was actually kind of thinking about something there while you were saying that. And my opinions towards it is this: if there are individuals out there that want to contribute to your work, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You put in a lot of labor and time into the work that they consume already at the cost of zero money. I think it's okay. I mean, you are providing them with God honest free content that they can consume. So if they want to go ahead and donate $5 or $10, that's okay. You're not out there being like the old '80s televangelist selling prayer cloths or now there's any don't get upset, folks, but because I do come from that background. You're not selling snake oil, is what I'm trying to say. It's okay.
But I kind of feel like that's where I have the impasse. Is I've always prided myself on I don't accept money for my services. Even doing my paranormal investigations, for private residences and stuff, I don't accept money for my services. So I kind of feel like that's where I come in my impasse here. Is like if people want to donate, I mean, maybe I could set something up, but I would feel bad about it.
I wouldn't, my friend. You're not out there asking for the money. If they freely donate so you can create more content for them to learn and enjoy, I'm all for it, man. So think of it as an honor, at least, or a privilege that somebody finds value in what you do and want to help you along with your journey. That's how I can put that. If that helps.
No, that's a good point. And maybe that's how I look at it. You know what? Maybe it's not a bad idea. I'll look into it and kind of like see what I think. I just right now I don't feel comfortable with doing it because I've never charged for my services before, and I don't plan on charging now. But in the same standpoint, I have always told clients that I don't charge for my services, but if you wish to donate for such things as like equipment repair and batteries and such, I would accept that. So maybe I can look at it in that standpoint.
Yeah, and it all helps. It's equivalent of when I do when I'm a vendor at certain shows is the money that comes in from the merchandise that I sell, everything goes towards the show to promote the show and pay for advertising. It doesn't go into my pocket. It doesn't enrich me in any way. I'm not making any money off of this, and I'm okay with it. But it helps the show to continue.
It
That's why
does.
I'm continuing to year 3 now, my friend. You're a big part of that. And for going back to the videos real quick, for those that to help those that may I don't want to fall for these hoaxes out there other than looking for the fishing wire.
Excuse me.
If you give us a real quick top to bottom, what as amateur researchers at this point, what should we look for in these videos that would help us to at least identify that it does not look legit?
Okay, that's actually a great question, Diego, that I've never been asked before. Um, First things first. Anything on Reddit, ignore it. Reddit's a cesspool. I hate Reddit. But what you're going to be looking for is simple as this. If you want to start debunking videos, and God, you know you're asking me to give away my secrets, right?
Not all of it. Just just give me the Diet Coke version.
Diet Coke version. Okay, so screenshot or download the video. What you're going to be looking for, you want to slow down the video. You want to do a frame by frame. In order to do that, you have to click edit. Do not crop the video. Just slowly scroll through. If you hold down on the video button, it will slow the video down. And what you're looking for is you're looking for shining from what could be a monofilament fishing line. You're looking for any discrepancy as far as time frame shifts between seconds. You're looking at any kind of color changes, because any kind of color change could indicate some form of editing. There is so much that goes into this that I feel like this could be a whole lecture at a Paracon. But that would be my basic advice. Download the video, slow it down. You're going to look for shining from a string. You're going to look at film cuts, and you're going to look at video editing. And you want to do that stuff frame by frame, because if you don't, you're going to miss it.
I think we're onto something now. As far as you being a lecturer on hoaxes, man. I think this is the first. I think we were onto something here.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be all for it.
And so let's say now we take your tips and we're unable to determine, or at least have a good idea that it may or may not be. Let's say, what do we do? How do we get a hold of you? How do we send you a video? Where can we direct you? Say, hey, go on this and watch this video. How can the listeners of Let's Find Out not only learn more about you, but contact you in case they run into something like this?
So if you're going to share me a video, the best way to do it is at TikTok on Static Voices, because that's where I get a majority of my videos. You can find me on Twitter at Static Voices, or X, whatever you want to call it now. You can find me on Facebook at Nathaniel Elwell. I have 2 different accounts, so add them both. The other one is defunct because I can't remember the password, but I'll add you on the one that I currently use. You can find me pretty much anywhere. I am all over the place. But if you have a question about a video and you want it to be explained, do not hesitate to reach out to me, whether or not it's a video from somebody else or your own personal video. This is what I do. This is what I love.
And I can speak for the listeners. So let's find out. We love what it is that you do. And I know I'm going to have you back on in 2025, but I want to have you on immediately after you get done with this lockdown. I need to know what the hell's going on there, man.
Oh, you know what, brother? That's going to be, I think it's July 17th and 18th. I'll get back to you. The dates, I've got 3 Paracons in July. So at this current moment, my mind's a little bit scattered when it comes to July. But I do believe it's the 3rd week in July. But yeah, you have me on after that, man, and I'll explain everything. I have no problem with that.
Thank you, my friend. This has been another excellent episode of Let's Find Out with Diego. Please check us out on all our social media pages, as well as on YouTube and Rumble. Like, share, and subscribe. Also, Let's Find Out is on KGRA Digital Broadcasting. Catch the show on Saturdays at 2 a.m. For more information, please visit KGRADB.com. That's KGRADB.com. Together, we will get one step closer to finding out. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Until next time, my friends.
Let's find out with Diego, the power of Diego Mania. All content for Let's Find Out is property of co-host Diego and is served directly from our servers with no modification, redirects, or rehosting. All celebrity impersonators are paid performers. The impersonated celebrities do not endorse or promote any views or opinions expressed by our guests, co-host Diego, or Let's Find Out. The information shared on Let's Find Out is provided on an as-is basis, with no guarantees of completeness, accuracy, usefulness, or timeliness.